yeah, I do feel like service is unfairly criticised in most industries. I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, I don't know how to put this nicely. I'm thinking immediately like the James Cordens of the world that walk into a restaurant in New York and whinge and are absolutely atrocious to people. But I think typically if you're on a call desk or something like that, and did find in my experience very, very few people just called me up to say, you know what, this is great. Everything's working today, and I'm having a great time. I'm not going to be calling up with praise. So you just deal with problems all day, and that can be quite like a negative. Can be quite quite tiring, definitely stressful for sure. Yeah, people just calling up with problems all day, and you have to, they might be really frustrated as well, completely justifiably. But yeah, to got to maintain composure throughout it. I don't know, passive isn't the right word, but you kind of know what I mean. I think
it's a difficult line to you're walking a line between compliance, because you've got to take the company line, which is the right thing to do. You've got to remain compliant because we're all working for risk-based organizations where the implications for getting something wrong can be huge and significant in terms of people's financial well-being and all that kind of stuff. But also remain human as well. In certain instances, I'll tell you this story not because I'm trying to big myself up, because I hate stuff like that. But I still remember one particular call I had in my first job so my first financial services job. I remember where I was sitting, remember the direction I was facing. I remember the lady's accent who came onto the phone. And the reason I remember all of this is it was the first, to use real code language, like away from real life and away from the telephones.
It was what you're going to say.
First death case, right, that I had to process. And it was the first, oh my God, this is real. Everything else was abstract. You give an evaluation for a policy, or you're looking at workflow, you're looking at transfer time, all that kind of stuff is all abstract. This was the first instance, because in my first role, it was a combination of speaking to the advice profession, also like workplace trustees and whatnot, but also the general public. And it was the annuity help desk when I was speaking to the general public. And this was someone's daughter who was calling to arrange, I guess, to tidy up and finalise her mum's affairs, who'd passed away. And it was like a sledgehammer dealing, because it was obviously so raw for the mum. It was obviously quite the daughter, sorry. And I remember the tone of her voice. I remember hearing it wobble, and I remember going, "Oh, my God, this is real life." And the potential jeopardy. I remember her thanking me afterwards for being human. Because some of the experiences she'd had with other companies were quite cold. And it's just something that's stuck with me ever since. Sometimes I find myself thinking about it now and again when I'm trying to. Everybody goes through this at times. You're trying to remind yourself why you're doing what you do. And drawing that line between what we do and the effect it has on the public can be quite long when we're a third party researcher, stroke commentator, reporter, and all the kind of stuff that we do. You forget sometimes that all of that, every single part of it, is funded by client money. Everything we do.